नमस्ते। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम्. In the first part of Aruna Prashna, we saw that it was about water. The second part is about time. So, Kala, it describes what time is and what are the units of time, how they all come together to create this one large unit of time called Samvatsara or year. Now, before that, it raises an epistemological question, that is about how do we obtain valid knowledge. So, it begins by asking, how do we know what is true about Aditya Mandala? So, let us begin. Smrutih pratyaksha maitihyam anumanaschatushtayam etairaditya mandalam sarvaireva vidhasyate. Sarvaihi eva vidhasyate. What is that everyone can know? Aditya Mandalam. First of all, it is very significant that it is referring to it as Aditya Mandala, right? Not as Bhumandala. So, clearly the Aditya, the sun is at the center, so it is describing it as Aditya Mandala. And it talks about 4 methods of knowing about this Aditya Mandala. And anyone can know that, Sarvaihi, everyone can know that. And those 4 methods are Smruti, Pratyaksha, Aitihya and Anumana. Now, traditionally and unfortunately, these have been interpreted in very, very conventional ways. For example, Smruti has been interpreted to mean Manusmruti and Apastamba Smruti and such religious texts. Smruti here really means the collective memory of our society. So, this has to be interpreted in the context of Jyotish Shastra, where knowledge about the solar system and grahas and so on have been passed down from generations to generations of Guru Shishya Parampara. So, Smruti here is really the collective or societal memory of these cosmic phenomena. And Pratyaksha, of course, is direct visual observation. Aitihya here again has been unfortunately interpreted as Itihasa, as in Ramayana and Mahabharata. They are not quite relevant, although there may be interesting pieces of information that one can get from them. Aitihya here really means historical records. So, these Jyotish Shastra exponents have been recording what happened, whether it is one graha crossing another or an eclipse happening and so on. So, those historical records is what they must be talking about. And Anumana, of course, is a method in Nyaya Shastra which refers to logical or inference or deductive reasoning. So, these are the 4 methods from which anyone can know about the Aditya Mandala, from our collective societal memory, from direct observation, from historical records, and also by applying logic and reasoning. Suryo marichimadatte sarvasmad bhuvanadadhi tasyah pakavisheshena smrutankala visheshanam. Surya is at the top of everything. Sarvasmat bhuvana dadi. So, he is at the top of the whole world, and from there he sucks with his rays. Marichim adatte. So, essentially he evaporates water, right? So, we just finished talking about water in the previous part. So, here it is talking about the sun taking it through his rays. So, it is about evaporation, I believe. And because of the special effects, Paka Vishesha, of this phenomenon, we get the special effects of time periods, right? So, Smrutam, so it is said or it is understood that Kala Visheshana or seasonal variations or changes in time periods are result of this sun's activity. This is tasyaha paka visheshena, from the special effects of that particular aspect, namely the sun being at the top of the world and sun's rays, sucking things from us. Because of that, the different kala visheshas or seasonal changes occur in our world. Nadi vaprabhavat kachit akshayatsyandate yatha tan nadyobi samayanti sorussati na nivartate. Now, to explain how time works, there is a beautiful analogy presented here about how a river flows. Kachit nadi prabhavat akshayat yatha syandate. So, some river, a particular river, Kachit Nadi, Prabhavat, from its source, point of origin, Akshayat, eternally or endlessly, Yathasyandate, the way it flows, how a river originates at some point and flows continuously, and Tan Nadyaha Avisamayanti, how other tributaries and smaller rivers come and join it, and sa urussati, so it becomes a larger and larger river, and that large river continues to flow forever, and the most important part is at the end, na nivartate, it never flows backwards. This analogy is used next to explain how time itself works. Evan nana samuthana kala samvatsaragashritah anushascha mahashascha sarve samavayantritam. So, evam, similarly, right, nana samuthanaha. So, what these units that are born in various sources, from various sources, those units of time, kalaha, samvatsaram shritaha, they all come and join this unit of, larger unit of time, like that river called samvatsara. Anushascha mahashascha, smaller units as well as bigger ones. Sarve, they all, right, some avayantritam. So they all follow that one larger unit called samvatsara. So imagine like a tributary is joining a river, smaller units of time are coming from various places and joining and forming this large unit of time called samvatsara. Satai sarvais samavishtaha urussanna nivartate adhisamvatsaram vidyat tadeva lakshane. So this samvatsara, sarvaihi samavishtaha, being joined by all the other units, right, it urussan na nivartate, the same words are repeated. It flows as a bigger unit but never goes backward. So time cannot go backward. Na nivartate, it never doesn't flow backward. And adhisamvatsaram vidyat. So this samvatsara should be understood by us as the foundation of this world, adhi. So it is the foundation for the way we experience our lives in this world, as with the passage of time. Tadeva lakshane. So one should therefore understand the lakshana or the characteristics of this samvatsara. That is very important to understand. So samvatsara has been talked about as being formed from all the smaller units of time and also being the very foundation of our life experiences as time passes in this world. Anubhishcha mahadbhishcha samarudha pradrushyate samvatsara pratyakshena nadhisattva pradrushyate. So this samvatsara, as already said, being joined by anubhihi mahadbhihi, by smaller and larger units of time, samarudha, and it is all together, it can be pratyakshena, it can be directly seen and observed. Clearly we see the yearly seasonal changes, that so samvatsara can be seen directly through pratyaksha, but its underlying basis or the deeper significance of that, adhisattvaha na pradrushyate, that cannot be seen. So the underlying conceptual basis for that or the deeper philosophical meaning of that cannot be seen directly, cannot be pradrushyate. Pataro viklidah pingaha etadvaruna lakshanam yatraitadupadrushyate sahasran tatra niyate. So it is not talking about why we can't see that underlying thing clearly. So if you consider Varuna, Varuna is like a piece of grey cloth, pataraha, viklidaha, it has various spots on it, pingaha, so it has some colors, various colors and so on. Etat Varuna Lakshanam, that is the nature of Varuna. Yatra etad upadrushyate. So whatever we are seeing is through such a such a wheel or such a lens of Varuna. So because of that we are not able to see it clearly. It's as though you are seeing through a grey cloth, a spotted cloth, a colorful cloth and so on, and because of that we can only get a view of it. We can't get the essence of what that samvatsara is. But that samvatsara is the one that carries along all the other 1,000 units. Sahasram tatra niyate. All the other units of time are carried forward by samvatsara. Ekagam hi shiro nana mukhe कृत्स्नन्तद्रुतुलक्षणम् उभयतः सप्तेन्द्रियाणि jalpitantve dihyate. So this samvatsara is described as having one head and many faces. Ekam shiraha nana mukhe. And so krutsnam, all together in whole, right, that gives us the rutu lakshanam. So together that those different faces under one head, the samvatsara and each rutu having its own face, together krutsnam, they give us the essence of how the seasons work. Rutu lakshana. So the Vasanta, Grishma, we will get detailed descriptions of each rutu in the following parts. So that the nature of those rutus come from this overall samvatsara, krutsnam. And it is as though this samvatsara has 7 parts or 7 organs on either side, ubhayataha. On either side, sapta indriyani, it has 7 parts or 7 organs. Now these things can only be known through words, right? Jalpita. So it can only be known, jalpitantu eva dihyate. These can only be through verbal descriptions or words. शुक्लकृष्णे संवत्सरस्य दक्षिणवामयोः पार्श्वयोः तस्यैषा भवति. But the samvatsara has 2 parts, Shukla and Krishna, the bright one and the dark one, right? And they are on the right side, and Dakshina is right side, Vama is left side, Parshva is side. So on the right side and left side, there is the Shukla part and Krishna part. There are 2 parts to this, which can be understood as the Uttarayana and Dakshinayana, the 2 halves of the samvatsara. And here there is a quotation. So the scientific scholarship of these mantras is very, very compatible with modern views. And there are various citations to other rishis, and especially whenever a mantra is taken from another source, typically from Rigveda, then there is an explicit marker for a quotation. So here it says tasyaisha bhavati. So it happens like this, and the next mantra is usually a quotation from Rigveda. And in this case, the particular mantra that is used is Shukrante anyadya jatante anyate vishurupe ahani dyaurivasi vishwahi maya avasiswadhavaha bhadrate pushan niharati rastviti. So this is a prayer which says, hey Pusha, hey Sun Lord, right? Shukram te anyat yajatante anyat. So you have a white part and different from another part. They are vishurupe, they have contrasting nature. What are they? They are ahani dyaurivasi. So they are the day and night. The day and night, they are contrasting with each other, and you have those 2 parts. and Dyauhu iva asi, you are like the sky, and Swadhavaha, so you are the one who gives us food, and Vishwahi Maya, you are managing all the various Mayas, magics, right, of time and everything that happens in this world. So, He Pushan, Bhadrate Ratihi Astu iti. Let your night also become auspicious for us. So, both day and night, let them become auspicious for us. And this iti at the end is added to as the end of the quotation. So, tasyaisha bhavati indicates the beginning of a borrowed Rigveda mantra, and iti means the end of that borrowed mantra. In the original mantra, the mantra ends at Rastre Astu, and then iti is added at the end to indicate that we are ending that quotation taken from Rigveda. Natra bhuvanam na pusha na pashavaha naditya samvatsara eva pratyakshena priyatamam vidyat. So, in reality or in the beginning, na atra bhuvanam, there is no real earth here, there is no world here. Na pusha, there is no sun. Na pashavaha, there are no animals. So, all these don't exist, right, in reality. Adhisamvatsarasya eva pratyakshena priyatamam vidyat. We have to see the reality is only the deeper Adhisamvatsara, the deeper Samvatsara, and we should see this world as a manifestation of that, right? So, only the Samvatsara should be seen directly and understood as Priyatamam Vidyat. So, it should be seen as the desired one. एतद्वै संवत्सरस्य प्रियतमगं रूपं योऽस्य महानर्थ उत्पत्स्यमानो भवति इदं पुण्यं कुरुष्वेति तमाहरणं दद्यात्. So, etadvai samvatsarasya priyatamam rupam. So, it's again emphasizing the same thing, that this is indeed the desired form of the samvatsara, and mahan artha utpatsyamana bhavati. So, from this, the deep meaning of it comes up, or one who understands this will get all the benefits in the world. Mahan artha utpatsyamana bhavati idam punyam kurushva tamaharanam dadyat. So, that can be understood as an implication for Jyotish Shastra, saying, do this meritorious punya kurushva. So, do this meritorious activity, and tamaharanam dadyat. So, it's like an instruction to students to know about samvatsara and kala and do the auspicious activities based on that.